It's that time. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Real Estate Show. South Florida's #1 program about real estate and America's longest running daily radio show about the topic of real estate. My name is Eric Willner. I am your host, and we are here live Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week on 5 different channels. Channel #1, AM 1470, our local station where all of this began. FM dial, FM 95.3, 96.9. On the apps, app #1 is the iHeartRadio app. App #2 is the TuneIn app. The radio.com and even WWNN has their own app. Then you could also listen to us on our website at automaticlandlord.com. Automaticlandlord.com does allow you to listen to us on the go and anywhere that you have cellular access. Just go on to or internet access for that matter, and then just look for Automatic Landlord. At the top of the page, you're going to see the Real Estate Show tab. Click on the tab. If you're there live at 5 days a week, you can hear us live. If you're not, you can always listen to our archived recordings there. You can even download the podcast version. And #5, you can not only listen to us live, you can watch us live. And we're live right now on our Facebook page. All you have to do is, if you have a Facebook account, just search for The Real Estate Show, all one word. That's The Real Estate Show. Or if you don't have an account, no worries. Just go to facebook.com, then go / The Real Estate Show. Once again, all one word, facebook.com / The Real Estate Show. Well, we got a great show for you today. As you know, each day of the week, Monday through Friday, it's a different show. And each show is destined and targeted at a particular purpose. And we started this week talking about our topics, which are the 4 big emerging trends. And we kind of use Mondays as defining what our topic is for the week, and then laying out the agenda for each one of the ensuing days for the rest of the week. And so that's what we did. If you missed that show and you wanted to see where we're going to go for the rest of the week, well, then just go back to automaticlandlord.com and listen to yesterday's show. Lots of good information. And we don't repeat everything every day, so it's worth catching up. Now, if you can't catch up during the week, you can always catch up on the weekend, because in addition to our 5 shows, we have our marathon show. That's all of our weekly show dose of real estate. Then listen to our show, our taped show on Sunday nights right here, wherever you're listening to us. You can hear that show Sunday night, 9 p.m. So on today's show, as I continue talking about the 4 different trends. Today, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the digitization of real estate. How do you like that one? The digitalization of real estate. And what do you mean by that? You know, it means we have fancy pixelated pictures. No, it's way more than that, a lot more interesting than that. But with everything going on with the real estate market, we already covered the conversation about credit scores. We talked about first-time home buyers. We talked about why landlording and investing in real estate, even at this particular hot seller's market that we're in, this is a very good time to be getting into real estate. You know, I just spent about 2 hours, the last 2 hours prior to this radio show, together with about 600 of the nation's top REO agents. And a very interesting conversation. In fact, I'll have to share some of that with you perhaps tomorrow on our REO midweek report. And, the expectation is there. And obviously, if you see some of the top agents in the country, 600 of them in an auditorium, in a live setting, and discussing what is coming. And, even the agents were asking, in an environment like this, we've got a hot real estate market, lots of demand, and also a pretty good amount of equity. How are we going to have short sales in a market like that? Well, to let you guys know, we've got a listing right now that is a short sale in today's market, right? And this is before when the government decides to finally end the moratoriums on evictions, when the government finally lifts the suspension on foreclosures, there are a number of people out there. So there will be this. I'm calling it a spike. I don't think it's going to qualify as some of these fake gurus out there will tell you that there's a tsunami of foreclosures coming. Not just based on what I just told you. I mean, of course, the right thing, if you were to have a second worldwide pandemic on top of the first pandemic, and then a suitcase bomb, and if you put enough variables in there, yes, we could have a complete meltdown. But the odds of that are not very high. And if you've been listening to the radio show for the last several weeks, I've been building the case why homes are more important now than ever before, which is why I was saying homes are much more valuable to us now, because they are not just the place where we sleep at night. They are the place where we work during the day, where our kids learn during the day, where we work out at some point in the day, where at some point most of us are eating more and more meals at home. And there's a whole list of additional functions that our homes are becoming, which makes it even more important. And as we talked about, one of the trends that we've been talking about is the dispersed working arrangements, or might call them the remote working arrangements, or home officing, if you will. So all of these things are all creating a greater value on residential real estate, and perhaps a bit of a more uncertain outlook for certain commercial. Now, invariably, what will happen, and real estate tends to adapt, and it tends to adapt slowly but well. I can easily see that a lot of the retail, which will no longer be needed now, with one of the trends that we talked about is the online shopping acceptance and democratization, that I can see a lot of the retail space get converted, not lost, but converted into more mixed uses. You've seen more of these little sort of mini villages where there's residential, restaurant, retail, and office space, all within like a walkable nucleus. And wouldn't some of these larger regional malls make a great infrastructure already in place? Now it's just a matter of converting it. And you could have a young style living on one end of that property, and you could have assisted living on the other end. Just imagine being able to, intermix when you want to in the middle, but have separate lifestyles. The bottom line is it's going to find itself work itself out, but there'll be some churn in the middle. There'll be some transition, and in every one of those transitions is some good opportunity. So I want to go back to what we wanted to talk about in today's show, which is today's topic, the digitalization of real estate. But before I get into that, I want to remind you that in addition to our 5 shows every week, we host a number of free workshops. Tonight at 8 p.m., we are doing our Credit Accelerator workshop. And if you'd like to attend and learn how to improve your credit in a fast way, we're doing it every single day as we speak. When I'm not on the air, that's what I'm doing. And you can text, if you want a free link invitation to, and it is limited space, our Accelerator workshop. Just text the word credit to 561 861 2366. Let me give you that number again. This is the Real Estate Show Smart Text line, 561 861 2366. Text the word credit, and you will get the link and invitation for the free workshop. And you're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff about credit and how to take positive action. Remember, today is tools, tips, and techniques. It's about doable actionable things that you can do. Now, Wednesday night, remember, this is brand new. Last week, we launched the Real Estate Show Listeners Biz Connect. And this is an online networking opportunity for us to network together in a more contact environment, where you can share what you do, we'll share what we do, and you'll be able to rub elbows with other like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, landlords, and real estate investors. So if that's what you would like to do, then text the word investor to get that invitation and that'll be at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. 8 o'clock Wednesday night. And then we've got, what do we got? That's for this week. We're not doing our normal Thursday event. I'm actually doing an interview on another station. So Thursday we're gonna skip. So just those two left in this week. Of course, last night was the Equity Builder workshop that we do every other Monday night. So anyway, those are the workshops on top of the radio show that's done 5 days a week, plus our marathon show on Sunday. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break from here from our sponsors. Then we're going to jump into more about the digitalization of real estate. We're going to talk about, cloud real estate. And there's two types. You might get these confused. One is doing real estate in the cloud, and the other is owning real estate in the cloud, which is pretty cool. And the efficiencies that come about that. We're going to talk about a little bit about Bitcoin and real estate, which is now you're starting to hear those two topics in the same conversation. Not to mention a little bit more about remote working and a little bit more about that. So don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Real Estate Show here, talking about the 4 emerging trends going forward in real estate. You got to know this stuff. If you're going to be in real estate, this is an important area that you should know. So we'll be right back. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. So the banner has finally arrived, and they're getting ready to put it back up. But I still want your feedback. I want to see what you guys think about this backdrop, which gives us some flexibility. I think the lighting is a lot better. I'm noticing that on the camera. The lighting is better. The color is a little bit more vibrant. That's on the Facebook. On the YouTube, we're going to work on another camera that brings out a little bit more camera too. So we might color. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here on the Real Estate Show, you are listening to South Florida's #1 program about real estate on the air now for 22 years, through good times, bad times, recessions, the Great Recession, and even the pandemic. And that's really what we're talking about the most right now is the pandemic, which is, needless to say, caused mass disruption in the way people live, in the way people work, and is also caused just sweeping changes in the broad economy. We're more concerned about what's going on in the real estate market, and that's why we started off talking on Monday about how real estate has done surprisingly and exceedingly well in the pandemic, and as a result of that, real estate is still attracting, and there's a lot of money going to real estate, which is part of the reason why we had the discussion in the first half about there will be a hiccup, there will be bumps in the road, no doubt, in the real estate, particularly with the change in and the extensions of the eviction and the foreclosures that have been held at bay. So there's part of the market that's being artificially protected, and that will have to come to an end at a certain point. Then there is the recovery, the inevitable recovery of the marketplace, which is also bringing in a lot. And so as a result of that, we've seen the residential market really solidify and really take off. But a lot of unknowns loom for the office sector. It's a little bit more difficult to predict what's going to happen or how fast it will happen, because ultimately, those that have a little bit more vision, maybe their fingers a little bit more on the pulse, the rise of remote working, the increasing concern for health in the office environment and the well-being of employees, and yet still to be further debated on who's responsible, or better yet, who can be held responsible if employees get sick and are affected because of a close working environment or a quote unquote unsafe environment. So those things, that's lessening the appeal of long commutes also in big cities. And that will also negatively, it already has negatively impacted leasing activity this year, and is predicted to also impact going into next year. I mean, think about it. We're already in mid-April. We're now already in the second quarter of 2021 already, which is just amazing how fast time is flying. So many large firms, and I've seen some firms completely abandon big growth plans in the commercial sector. One company we talked about on the radio about 3 weeks ago that had built a brand new big campus, and then turned around within the pandemic and sold it. Never took possession, sold it, and now has decided to do different segregated spots instead of one big centralized campus. So as you can see, that is a definite validation of the trends we're talking about. Many real estate leaders do predict that employees will eventually return to the office, even if in a more hybrid working model. A lot of the real estate leaders that I've been reading about do predict one area of growth for the office sector called flexible space. Think about places like co-working, WeWork, where you have the ability, Regis office centers. What they're saying is that you're probably going to see more of a polarization between perceived high quality buildings, those A class, you're in an A class building when you're in an A class building, very modern, very adaptable, and outdated, inflexible secondary office space that's likely to suffer from a marked decline in demand. So kind of an interesting thing to watch out for. And next time you walk into an office building, take some note about what that's all about. So let's talk also about the digitalization of real estate. Think about how even the residential real estate market was treated very differently. First, there was the lockdown, right? And one of the professions that did achieve essential status was real estate, right? And I'm not surprised by that. It might seem like you could wait and sell later or rent longer, or just delay the whole process. But remember what I just said in the beginning: homes are becoming more and more important. And if they're not already more important for you and I, where we live, and if we haven't moved, it's now almost a 24-hour experience, as opposed to 8 hours home, 16 hours out and about doing work, errands, shopping, visiting, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's almost 24 hours round the clock in the house. And the old days of hearing people complain about cabin fever is being substituted by creative ways to make your property more enjoyable. You're extending into the outdoors in the areas where that's possible in the certain climate. People building home gyms, converting rooms into offices, closets into offices. Some really creative stuff if you go out there and read it and just do an internet search on creative home offices. It's actually kind of interesting. And so think about that every square foot of your property now becomes more valuable and more in demand, because now we're really concerned about usable space. So enclosing porches, converting garages into living space. The car can wait outside. I don't know if you remember, about a year ago, I did an article on how, thanks to ride share, and so here the Uberization of cars, that especially millennials were less likely to have two cars in the garage anymore. And during a pandemic, you might have seen that your car sits in the driveway a lot more than it used to. And so if you can move the cars from outside and create more living space, well, if the dollars per square foot, let's say that you live in an area where the value of the property is $400 a square foot, which is fairly average. Well, if you added 800 square feet, which is or 400 square feet, that's a 20 by 20 two-car garage. If you convert it at $300 a square foot, well, there's $120,000 of new value to your house. Think about that. And as the demand for more use of the living space increases, that can make all the difference. And of course, now guess what? Real estate in general goes up in value as a broad asset class. So as a result of that, and like I said, if you and I didn't already find that important, imagine the folks who have lots of money, good paying jobs, that have up until now been stuck in high rises, cement jungles, crowded cities like Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, who have the resources and now want to go out and they want to spread out. They want space between themselves and everybody else. And especially with this remote working capacity, well, if you could sit in a dingy apartment that faces another building in Manhattan, or sit on a waterfront canal in South Florida, it doesn't take too long to figure out where that goes. And so that's why we started seeing people buying homes without actually walking the property, because thanks to 360 virtual tours, thanks to digital documentation, and you see the whole things that's changed, and what I call the digitalization of real estate, which makes it your marketplace, who your potential buyers. Now all of a sudden it's not just the people who travel and are in the local area, but anybody with an internet connection is now a potential buyer all over the world. So that's a big mega trend that we wanted to bring to your attention. Anyway, tomorrow is our midweek report. We'll have a whole bunch more. We'll talk about the online shopping. Don't forget, afterwards we have our real estate listeners Business Connect meeting at 8 p.m. tomorrow night as well. So remember the text line 561-861-2366. That's right. Text investor to 561-861-2366 if you want to join us for that tomorrow. Text the word credit to the same number if you want to come to our credit workshop tonight. Anyway, that's it for today. This is Eric Willner signing off. Until tomorrow, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. All right, my friend. Thank you. Hey, Brian.